It's Halloween, so lots of horror movies I want to talk about. And I want to talk about the finale to one of my favorite directors, a trilogy that he didn't get to finish until 27 years after the second one, Inferno. And Argento based his trilogy off of the concept of these three witches who were basically demigoddesses. And they weren't sequels in the same sense as Halloween has sequels. Each film followed a different set of characters facing off a different witch, and sometimes they'd make reference to each other, but it was very, very subtle, and I think they are very, very unique in that way. However, the thing that ties them together is the director and his spectacular way of storytelling. I really love Suspiria. Suspiria is one of those movies that has influenced me as a creator, and I liked Inferno a lot too. But Mother of Tears, I watched it earlier this year, and I just had issues with it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to vlog about this right now. I'm going to let it sit for a couple months, and I'm going to come back to it because I actually didn't like Suspiria either on first watch either. And I wanted to give Mother of Tears, the finale to this trilogy, a fair shot. And there are things about it that I like more. Like, I think that stylistically it fits very well with the other two. There's again great coloring and great atmosphere, but it doesn't have that same amount that Inferno and Suspiria has, where it feels like a fantasy world. This almost feels too real at times. Yeah, there's great coloring and directing and art direction, but a lot of times there just isn't enough of that. There was just so much in Inferno and Suspiria. It was just kind of disappointing to not see that being carried over into Mother of Tears. And I will say that the main character, Sarah, who is basically a curator at a museum who accidentally unleashes this final witch with her one of her co-workers, she discovers that she is actually on the opposite spectrum of the Mother of Tears, where she has blood relation to a good witch. And that was something that I was always curious about with the other two films, is if there's these evil witches, were there ever good witches to combat them? And that's another thing that is pretty good about this movie, is that it really dives into the backstory and into the world and expanding upon the Three Mothers Trilogy, whereas the first two are very atmospheric and very vague. Mother of Tears goes way into the mythology, and I do really like that. I feel like Argento really got creative with the storytelling and did his best. I give a pass on some of the dubbing and some of the dialogue because the director's English is his second language, and the dialogue in Suspiria and Inferno isn't particularly great either. But overall, I think the film is fine. I'm not as disappointed as what I was when I first watched it, maybe because it softened on me a bit. There is a lot I like about it. Again, the way the world is expanded upon, and there's some really genuinely good scares in this movie. However, there are jump scares that I was shocked Dario Argento would incorporate in his films that were just stupid, and especially the one at the very beginning of the film. If you watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I was just like, really, this is such like a modern day thing that has been going on since the 2000s, is the false jump scares. And it was just so stupid and out of nowhere. And overall, the characters in this film, there's nobody that really sticks out as, oh, I really love that character, besides maybe the Mother of Tears herself, who is shrouded in mystery, and when she's shown, she's this beautiful person who is also terrifying because all these people just blindly follow her because her influence is so powerful. Like, the moment she's unleashed and starts gaining power, the city of Rome just starts falling apart and madness just spreads everywhere. But her followers just aren't that terrifying. The unseen assailant makes a brief appearance, the one that is in Suspiria and Inferno, who is, I've always just perceived as this demon the witches summon to go do their bidding. I mean, you see like their yellow eyes, and they're always shrouded in black and shrouded in shadows, and that character has always been super scary, and that character makes a very brief appearance in the film. But other than that, the Mother of Tears, her minions are just like these gothic groupies, and that's literally what they look like. They're not that intimidating at all. They're kind of goofy in a lot of places. I think it would have been great if I think it would have been way more effective if those characters had been more subtle and would have been more in the background, or you never even really saw them and were just stuck with the original concept of the unseen dark assailant. But it's not a bad movie. Mother of Tears is fine. It's an okay conclusion to the trilogy, but it's nowhere near as good as Suspiria and Inferno. It's not something that I'm going to revisit a lot or going to recommend like I would Suspiria and Inferno. But I think that's a healthy thing to admit. I mean, I really admire Dario Argento. And when it comes to artists that we really admire, I think it's okay to admit that they're not always going to put out the best content. And even my favorite director of all time, John Carpenter, I don't love all of his films. I super admire him as an artist, and I do the same with Argento, but not everything they touch is going to turn to gold, and I think that's, that's okay. I'm still always going to love the other films that I've loved by them. So my urban fantasy and supernatural suspense books will be on sale throughout the entire month of October. You can check out all those on Amazon. Those are on sale for $6.99, so if you want a scary read, you can pick those up. Let me know what you're watching this Halloween, what kind of scary movies you're getting into, what's your favorite Argento film. Thanks so much for watching.